Good morning. Thanks everybody for joining our webinar today. We're going to give it a minute or two to let some people trickle in and then we'll get started. Appreciate your patience. Looks like we still have a couple people trickling in, but we'll get started shortly. Having a couple technical difficulties here. Give us 1 second. Dylan will get that handled. We're looking at, there we go. Awesome.
All right.
Perfect. So we'll just go ahead and jump into the introduction. I appreciate your patience on this. This is a little bit of a technical difficulty we had with some permission levels, but we finally got that handled. Dylan, if you want to jump on over into the agenda slide, I'll kind of go through it with everybody. Perfect. I just wanted to let y'all know what the quick agenda for this meeting is going, or this webinar is going to be. We're going to go ahead and do a quick introduction of your host here, Dylan, and then he will present a general overview of what Fieldwire is real quick, followed by a demonstration on how Fieldwire can be used for specialty contractors. This is not intended to necessarily be a training, just information on how some users are using Fieldwire on the subcontractor side. With about 5 minutes left in the session, we'll go ahead and do some questions and answers. At that point, we'll answer as many questions as we can, but any that we don't get to, somebody with Fieldwire will be reaching out to you afterwards to answer those questions for you. This deck will be sent out at the end with a follow-up email, and you will have access to all of our additional resources if you do have further questions or would like to take a deeper dive into Fieldwire. Keep in mind that the end of this session will have a survey attached to it. If you would, please, it's 5 questions. Your feedback will be greatly appreciated. So from there, I'll go ahead and introduce you to Dylan Reed, who is one of our construction success managers, and let him take it from here.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh, and appreciate everybody joining this morning. Like Josh said, I'm Dylan Reed. I work on the construction success team here at Fieldwire. And yeah, pleasure to have you guys on here. So a little bit of a background on myself. Before joining the team here at Fieldwire, I spent about 3 years out of college working as a project engineer and assistant PM for a pretty large plumbing and mechanical subcontractor out here in the Bay Area. I had a large focus on medical office buildings, and I worked on a wide variety of quite a few different projects. And here at Fieldwire, I've helped some companies implement some creative solutions and optimize their workflows, helping them save time and money. I've learned a lot of great insights working both in the subcontractor world and working with some great subs here at Fieldwire. And I'm here today to kind of share some of those key insights and takeaways. So the Fieldwire helps solve three main problems with an easy to use collaborative cloud-based solution that allows you to capture and access data remotely with your laptops, phones, or tablets. The first one, being able to access all the information that you need to build and complete your jobs. This includes construction documents from plans to submittals that are all stored electronically and are accessible both on and offline. The second one, ensuring your team in the office and in your team in the field both know what they need to do and can communicate quickly to others. Our task tool was actually built to eliminate inefficient emails and unclear phone calls and have one source of truth when it comes to accessing information on a project. And then the last one, having live updates and reports from what's going on at the point of install. This allows you to keep internal and external team members up to date with what's going on at your project at any point in time. So with that in mind, Fieldwire was built with a focus on the people actually performing the work within the field. Whether that's the people performing the work or the people managing the work, that's what our focus has been on. And our aim was to create a platform that reduces time and headaches for those people doing that work and the people managing that work. And these are some of the top use cases that we've seen for subs. Planning and managing work, which we'll be focusing on today, and then punch list and automated reporting, mobile plan viewing, dot control, and progress photos. And we'll touch on each one of those today a little bit. So just to give you a quick overview on what we'll be covering, first we'll take a look at an easy way to get your tasks uploaded onto Fieldwire and how to set up and effectively manage your work. Then we'll go through the field documentation aspect of it and how you can manage and track that work and make sure it's being completed in a timely manner. And then last, we'll touch on the ability to extract this information and share that with clients in a professional and templated report. And throughout, I'm going to be showing you a couple of tips and tricks that I've seen different subs use on Fieldwire. And I think they're super useful and kind of help project management and field management teams lives or make their lives a bit easier. So without further ado, we'll jump into a project here. So we're going to start by looking at a mechanical project. So I'm going to just click in here. And I'm going to give you a quick overview on tasks before we kind of jump into the workflow for tasks. So going to tasks here, I'm actually going to click on a plan sheet. And if you notice here, we have quite a few different markups on this page. That's also a great tool within Fieldwire, especially for subs. For one, documenting any changes that are being made, so you can create as-builts, or just communicating any different changes or notes for the rest of your team. But just to give you a quick overview on tasks and what they look like, I'm going to click into these tasks here with cleanup needed. And this is just a punch list item. So these are kind of some more reactive tasks that were created by, let's say, the PM doing a site walk and noticing a couple of things that he wants the field teams to get cleaned up. So this is just a cleanup one. If you look on the right here, we have status, QA, QC, punch, and then category, cleanup, and assignee, Tony, that's the foreman out on site. And then we have a specific location within a plan that it's associated with. Again, this is kind of more of a reactive task, and we're going to be touching on the proactive side of things a little bit in a second here, but I just want to give you an idea of kind of the different ways it can be used and what the anatomy kind of a task looks like. Some other things that you can use tasks for are inspection requests, and then tracking devices or entering in all of the different activities that you have from a GC's master schedule. So we'll actually dive into that now, and I'll go over to the task tab here. And this is kind of so this is what we call our Kanban view. And this is like going to be the best place for effectively managing all the work that needs to be done on a project and seeing what the statuses are at any given point in time. I'm going to go ahead and show you here on the left-hand side. So this is how we have it broken up for our categories. If you can notice, we have quite a few different ones as they all relate for the most part, to mechanical systems and devices. We're going to focus on VAVs here in a second, so I'm going to scroll down and click on that. But you can pretty much break this out however you'd like. A lot of times we see it done by system or devices, but you can choose however you'd like to break out those categories. So I'm going to go ahead and click on VAVs here. And then just looking at the workflow here, so these are just the different, this is actually a common workflow that I've seen a lot of different subs use, starting with open. So this will be your default status, and then it'll go to in progress as it goes through the workflow, and then it'll move to completed when it's done. And then we also have a QA QC punch portion of it, and then a constraint. And this is kind of just the standard workflow that I've seen a lot of different subs use, but you can change this at any point. And to do that, you just go ahead and hit the settings icon, and then you can change the name of these, you can change the color, you can change the permission levels for each one, and then as well as the order. And you can have up to 7 different ones of these statuses. So this is a good starting point, but you can also make those adjustments as you kind of figure out your own workflow. So in my case, if we're kind of pretending like we're the PM or super on a project and we're trying to get our project up and running and get things going, we're going to go ahead and get all of these tasks within Fieldwire. So in my case, I already have them on here, but if I was going to go through that step, what I would do is just use this task importer. So I go ahead and click import tasks, and that's going to queue up this window, and it's going to give me the option to kind of fill this out. So what I actually recommend doing is copying this format and then putting this into either an Excel or a Google Sheet and then filling that out there. So I'll just show you quickly what that looks like here. So if you notice, we have all of our VAVs listed out here. We're starting with the title, and then we have our status, and then we have our category, assignee, start and end dates, and then it gives you a couple of different options over here. I left those blank for this one. And then as well as I included a checklist. So this was a checklist that I built out within Fieldwire previously. And then when I upload these and I have this entered here, it's automatically going to pull that checklist in for every task. So what I would do is I just go ahead and copy these guys and then go into the import task importer here and just hit paste. And then I would go ahead and hit import tasks, and these would all get imported. So for my sake, since I've already uploaded them, I won't do that here. So I'll just close out of that. But that's the step you would take for getting like a large amount of tasks uploaded into Fieldwire. So now that we've kind of taken that step for getting those tasks in here, we'll move to the next step as a PM or super and kind of go through managing those a bit. And just getting them, making sure they're in the specific location so that the field team can go ahead and complete that work. So I'm going to go to the plan section here, and then I'm going to scroll down to my mechanical plans where I have most of these tasks. And then if you can notice here, I have a couple different ones already associated with specific locations. I may also want to drag, so if you notice here, we have a couple in diamonds, which means that they're associated with this plan, but they're not actually on a specific location within the plan. So I may want to complete that process and go through and just drag these onto that plan. And then I may also want to go through and just assign these to the foreman on site. So I'm going to change this assignee from myself as the PM to Tony Foreman, and then he'll get a notification on his iPad letting him know to go ahead and complete those tasks. So I'll do that for maybe this guy as well. And then Tony will know to go ahead and complete that work. So now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my iPad to go ahead and actually complete that work. Sorry about that. So now that I'm out on site and I'm going through it, I'm starting to go complete some work as the foreman. I'm going to go to my plans, and then I'm going to go to the mechanical plans here. And then I got these couple tasks in here that were assigned to me. So I'm just going to go through the different steps for completing some of these tasks. So I'm going to click open this guy, and now I have this nice checklist to go through and make sure I'm completing all these different steps. So as the foreman, I'm just going to go ahead and click these guys off as I go and just say, hey, yeah, these are good. And then I might also snap a photo documenting my progress and click on the camera there, snap a photo, that'll automatically upload into there. And I'll have some good documentation for our own purposes, and then also a little bit of a CYA for if there's any contention at the end of the job about if something was completed or if there was a holdup. So I'll just go through and complete this task fully. We'll pretend that there was no issues, which rarely ever happens, but we'll go through that full process real quick. So I'll just go hit edit, and then I hit that edit button on the top right there. And then I go through and I'm going to say, okay, this status can now be changed to completed here. And then I can change my assignee to the PM, and he'll get notified that this has now been completed, and he can go through and verify that. So I can go back, and that work looks like it's been completed. Now let's say I'm going through and I run into an issue. I am going through and I'm going through each step. I got these 4 steps done, but then I run into this and I need the electrician to actually proceed with their work. What I would do there is go ahead and hit the plus button here at the bottom and create a related task. So hit the plus button, hit related task, and that's going to queue up either create a new task or find an existing task. For the sake of time here, I'm going to do find existing task, and then I'm going to say I want to link this need wiring ran to electrical reheater, and that will now be linked to this one. And I can maybe even click on this checklist, putting an X in there saying that that has not been completed, and then a note in this task saying I'm going to use this voice to text option here right next to the space bar, the microphone, and say waiting on electrician. And then that's going to automatically go into there. And then I'm just going to look at this constraint task that I created that are related with it, and just open that up and make sure that that has the information that I need. So I have a nice note in there saying need wiring ran to electrical reheater, cannot complete work until electrician has ran wire into the electrical reheater. And then I have a photo in there as well, and I have a couple of different tasks associated with this. So this is an important thing to get done. And then just looking at this one, I have my status set as a constraint, which is good. Category is electrical, and this has been assigned to my PM, so he'll get the notification for that. So that all looks pretty good, and we can be done with that work for now as we wait for the electrician to proceed with their work. So I'll just exit out of there. So let's say now I'm walking on site, and I'm gonna actually turn on this to all tasks. And I'm walking on site as the maybe like a journeyman, and I notice an issue. I see that, oh, there's a VAV that's conflicting with some framing. And so maybe I pull up Fieldwire and I'm like, let me just take a look to see if that is being documented or if there's any information about that. So I look at that specific location, and it looks like, oh, we got a red task there. Let's pull that up and see what's going on. So it looks like we have an RFI that's been created for that, and it's associated with that VAV that I noticed. So that's perfect. It's being taken care of. Let's just check out what the status of this RFI is. And so this is actually an RFI that was created with our forms. And this is a standard Fieldwire template that we have for RFIs. So looks like that question kind of encapsulates that issue that I noticed on site. The suggestion looks good. That's what I was thinking too. And it looks like we're still waiting on a response from the GC, but that is being taken care of, and I know that. And the PM's kind of the one running that right now, it looks like. So I can wait to see what information comes back there. And once that information is responded or it comes back, it'll be documented with this in this RFI, and it'll live within that task. And so at any point, anybody can know that there's a task associated, or there's an RFI associated with that location, and it has all the information they need if they ever have to reference it. All right, so I'm going to go back as if we are the PM now, kind of managing this work on site. So if I go back to the task tab here, we have a couple different options we can do. So this is going to be, again, the main place where you're going to be managing your different work and making sure that it's being completed in a timely manner. To do that, we have a couple things. So we have the sort and filter tasks, as well as filtering by the category over here. So in our case, we're looking at VAV, so we'll just keep that category filter on. But you can do that for any one of these systems. And then we also have this filter tasks option, and this is going to give us a couple different options. So it includes categories here as well, but we also have status. So let's say I want to see as the PM what VAVs are still open or in progress that my foreman's working on. So I'm going to say, okay, choose open and in progress here. My categories is going to be VAVs. And then I'm going to choose my assignee, Tony Foreman, and then that looks good for now. I'll take a look. Okay, cool. We have 3 of these that he's still working on. So maybe I'll go ahead and follow up with him to see what's going on and making sure that those are getting completed or at least started. Couple other things that you have here. You have the option to choose. You can filter by the creator, so who created that task originally, the title, plans, tags, and locations, as well as a time filter, so just the type of time filter and then the actual time you want to filter by. And those are kind of the more in-depth filters that you can choose, which are especially important and useful when you have like hundreds of tasks on a project. So I'm going to go ahead and just clear those out for now. And then go to the next one here. So sort tasks. So this is going to be how you sort tasks for basically the order that they show up within this view. So you can sort by your assignee, you can sort by your plan, your title, task number, which is just going to do it in chronological order. And then if you notice 1, 2, 3, and then you can also do it by start and end date or last modified. A couple other views to note over here. We have our calendar view and then also our Gantt chart view. So these are both great views for just kind of seeing what's going on. So for the Gantt chart, this is a great way of doing a 3-week look ahead. And so what you can do is if you have these dates entered in, you can see what's going on and choose the time period that you want to look at. So if I want to just do 3 weeks, it looks like we have that in, or more or less. And then I see all the concurrent activities that I have going on here. And then if I also enter in manpower, so to do that, what you would do is just open the task, enter man hours in here, and then you can see how many man hours per day. And then if I hovered on it here, it's going to say with all the tasks I have going on and how many man hours I'm projecting that each task will take. It'll say how many man hours or how many men I'll need on site for that given day. And this is great for like if you get that master GC schedule update coming out, you can change the dates for each one of these tasks based on whatever dates were given by the GC. And again, great for doing that 3-week look ahead and just keeping a good look at what work you have coming up in the near future. And then the other one is just the calendar view. And this is just kind of a way of looking at for week, month, week, or day, what concurrent activities you have going on, so you can just plan accordingly. And then both of these are actually downloadable, so you can export PDF versions of these for both the Gantt chart and the calendar view. And what you can do is just send these out to your teammates so that they can have a view of what's going on and what the plan is for the next coming week. Cool.
Awesome.
So
I just wanted to remind everybody to go ahead and start submitting some of your questions for the Q&A that's about to start. Is there anything else that you're wanting to show, Dylan? And if not, we'll go ahead and jump into the Q&A.
Yeah, there's just one quick section, just giving you a quick update on for managing this work a little bit. But I'll try to make that as quick as possible. I know we ran a little bit over time with the introduction of this, but just for generating reports quickly. So if we're doing like a constraint report that you want to send out to a GC, what you would do is just open this guy, and then you have a couple different options you can choose through here. But basically, I'm choosing just a constraint report. So I'm going to choose this constraint status there, and then I'm including these different bits of information, and then I'll just show you quickly what that looks like. So when I have some like constraints that need to be taken care of for different trades, I have electrical, framing, plumbing. This is just my table of contents, and then this is kind of what that report looks like, so that they can coordinate with those trades and make sure that they're being taken care of. But yeah, that's it from me, and then we can just jump into the Q&A portion.
Awesome. Well, I've already got a couple questions that are trickling in here. So I'll just start with this one. Is there a master Gantt chart that can show all jobs overlaid together?
Great question. There is not currently. We are in the works of creating a cross-project analytics. And I can't guarantee that will be part of that in the early stages, but we are working on something where you can pull information together for multiple jobs.
Good deal. We've got another one here that says, is there a place where we can put the contacts for a job, such as numbers, names and phone numbers?
Totally, yeah. So where you can put that was within the file section. So I'll just show you quickly where that lives. So you can do the files section over here, and you can add in PDFs and anything you really need, such as like a contact list, and have it live there where they can pull that up.
Awesome. I am seeing one more question here. When importing task, I see that there is an X and Y location references. How do these work related to the plans?
Yeah, so the X and Y coordination locations can be useful. You'll have to pull those out previously and get the exact locations. I can show you kind of what that looks like, and actually don't have that pulled up, but it's often more useful, and I found, just to import them onto the plan and then drag and drop into the exact locations, because it can be a bit cumbersome to get all those X and Y coordinates and get those entered in within the task importer.
We'll be sure to have somebody follow up with you on that and give you a demonstration on how to export those XY coordinations and re-import those.
Yep, definitely.
I've got another one here. Is there a place to place and add job notes that can be updated by the field crew?
Yeah, definitely. So I would recommend using tasks for that. And that you can also have markups. So if you want to just do a quick markup with a quick note, you can do just a little text box on the plan sheet. But if you want to document some more in-depth notes that go back and forth between crews, then I would definitely create a task for that. And then they can use that text feature that I showed you guys and communicate through there.
We've got another one here. Is there an API available to integrate with other systems?
Yes, we do have an API token that is available. That's definitely, yeah, we can follow up with you on that, have somebody reach out to you. But that is definitely something we have. I have a couple of different customers using that. Yeah.
Awesome. I think we've got time for one more here. Is there a way to customize reports with a project title page, thanking issues to stakeholders in terms of compliance reports?
So customizing it's gonna have the title be the title of the project, but you can change the title of the report itself. But maybe that might be a question that we can follow up with you on specifically to go through the logistics of that and what you're looking for specifically.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'd like to go ahead and invite you all to take a look at our next webinars that are coming up. You can find those on our website. Like I said earlier, we will be sharing this deck as well. This deck will include links to those future webinars as well as additional resources for you to utilize. Be sure to check out that survey and give us your honest feedback. We would really appreciate it. And until next time, you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you all.